in your attic,
No,
hopefully still.
I've moved. I've moved to the conference room.
Where are you now?
I'm now in my conference room.
Oh, right. Listen, I mean, if you were here every day, a different part of your home.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
go everywhere,
I
the garden, the bathroom, but for now, it's another part of your home. Listen, I'm going to leave it up to you now to take care of this session.
All right, and well, I'm super happy to be here, and we have a packed panel discussion, and we hope you can participate a lot. And of course, I want to invite the panel members on the screen. I just invite them, and let's see how that is going to work. And there we have them, and I hope we fit on the screen. Yeah, fantastic. And let me very briefly introduce to you. I just mentioned the name. They will introduce themselves in a minute. Razvan, Maria, Elena, and Sabrina. And well, Razvan, I like the colors in your background. That looks great.
Thank you, Tom.
Fantastic panel, and we are super ambitious. So I think we have 4 or 5 subjects we want to discuss. I'm sure we're not going to finish everything, but let's take our time and let's make sure that we give some depth to the discussion. And this we're starting with round 1, and round 1, of course, is introduction, and we couple that with what are the most important trends for 2023. So I want to ask each of you to very briefly introduce yourself, but don't present your whole CV, because then we will not be able to end. And then out of your, let's say, your experience, your heart, say, what do I think is a very important trend in the HR people organization domain for 2023? And I'm starting with Elena, I don't know, but you say what is the right presentation. So, Elena, over to you, and I might cut you off at a certain moment, but please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom, and hello, everyone. My name is Elena Semenova. So I'm a head of sales in LinkedIn. I'm responsible for Southern Eastern Europe and responsible for talent and learning section of our business. So that's me. And in terms of the trends, as you know, LinkedIn has quite a wide range of. We have a lot of members. We have a lot of companies on our platform. Of course, it's very. We also talk to a lot of organizations in our region, and we would. It was very difficult for me, to be very honest, to pick one thing because HR function is so broad and so wide. But probably the thing that stands out for us would be a skill-based hiring.
Yeah.
Right, skills-based approach to talent overall, not only to hiring, but overall skills-based approach to talent. And we hear more and more, for example, I love this abbreviation, build, buy, borrow, bought. I don't know if you've heard about that concept already, but organizations think in terms of, for example, build. How do I build in terms of the skills? How do I build this? Skills within existing employees, within my existing employees. In terms of by what skills particular I, for example, currently need to develop my what skills do I need to buy, and what I need to go and find on the market, right? So yeah. Coming back to borrow, for example, what skills can I just do I need temporary, where I can just go to the market and borrow for a certain assignment. And in terms of what skills I can buy, meaning that what skills I can automate.
Yeah, thank you. So the move is more skill-based hiring as an important trend. And do you also, how do you see that in LinkedIn? Because I see still a lot of, you say, vacancy-based hiring on LinkedIn.
It's changing very rapidly, because what we do see on LinkedIn, that when we are looking at all the openings and vacancies, how to say, we have quite a lot of still vacancies opened, but they are very, companies are hiring for a very specific need or skill, right? So when you sorry, I'm a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Take your time.
Yeah. So when sorry, remind me the question again.
Yeah. Do you already see in LinkedIn a
Yeah, no,
change from vacancies to skill-based hiring?
yeah, no, absolutely. So we first of all we just introduced skill-based hiring methodology, where, for example, recruiters can go and pick or find a certain profiles based on the skill.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's quite an important function, which is it's quite demand and help to fill the role way quicker. So
Yeah.
the time to fill the role if you are basically trying to fill the role through skills-based hiring, you fill the role 2 months quicker than
Yeah. So there's good data around that as well. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we go to Sabrina of SAP. Sabrina, welcome here. Short introduction and your trend for 2023.
Thank you very much. Good morning from my side. I'm Sabrina, based in Germany. I'm the head of HR for Central and Eastern Europe, spanning from Austria to Azerbaijan, 24 wonderful countries. I've been in that role for 5 years now, and the trends that I'm seeing, or let's rather put it, the trends that we at SAP HR right now see for next year is that we would like to provide an environment for our current employees and the future ones that we require in order to have the skills of the future to further grow in the company, is to provide an environment where, also in a very challenging economic environment that we're in right now, employees can feel safe and can find the space to grow and thrive.
Yeah. So a safe and environment also in these difficult times.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you. That's at least that's an aspiration, I would say.
Absolutely.
That's clear. Maria, we go to you, or Maria Dima, but I say Maria, and Maria, the floor is yours.
Hi, great to be with all of you. I hope you can hear me well. So
Yeah.
I'm Maria Dima. I'm working in Schneider Electric now for the past 12 years. Overall, I've been on HR for all my professional career, so 22 years in HR. And currently, I'm leading a digital academy, so really looking at the digital upskilling of our employees. And I'm also heading the competency development globally. So I'm very much into the skills journey that has been already mentioned, but just to give it a little bit of a twist as a priority, not to mention the same things, is I think one of the key priorities and challenges that I see at the same time for us in HR is how to accommodate and to adapt our practices, or to bring new practices, so that we can meet the needs both of employees that continue working more in the standard way of having a job description, a set of specific responsibilities, and also the employees are working under agile or more let's say new ways of working and agile ways of organizing work, maybe around skills also, right? So we see that gradually we start to have both in the organization. And sometimes the practices that we use for rewards, for performance, for talent management are not meeting the needs of both types of way of working, right? So this is one of the challenges that all of us, I think, in HR will need to figure out, how to make sure we can accommodate as we go even more and more to a skills-based approach around organizing work, how we meet the needs of both these types of ways of working. Yeah.
And there might be even more than two.
It might be even three, or all the rain, or the colors of the rainbow, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Maria Dima. Razvan, welcome. And what about your background and then maybe the trend for 2023?
Hi, Tom. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. I'm Razvan. Indeed, I'm a part of Microsoft, and I'm a solution specialist in Microsoft, covering the Central and Eastern Europe part. And my purpose is to actually bring more clarity on the important role that employee experience has for every organization on the planet. We observed this, especially in the last 3 years when the pandemic came. All was accelerating in that moment in time, basically, when almost all the organizations went online and then came back in a hybrid approach. And this is why I'm thinking that as a main trend for the next calendar year, maybe, it will be this hybrid work, let's say, on how hybrid can be transformed from threat to opportunity, and how this can influence employee experience, basically. What we saw until now was that employee experience is becoming more and more priority for all the organizations. Why? Because we need to have engaged employees, especially in the next period, for example, when a possible recession might come also. And every company would like to have the best sellers in the world, the best marketing organizations, the best financial guys in their company. So it's a combination of reimagining employee experience, keeping them engaged into the business, and also retaining the existing talents, giving the opportunity to reskill the existing employees. And I'm happy to detail more in the next minutes, of course.
All right, excellent. So a great variety, but the skill element coming through quite clearly of some of you, and also the ability to cater with a lot of differences in the workforce, and the standardized HR is not the solution. This was round one. And I have some difficulty of seeing questions of the audience at this moment, but we'll make sure we'll get to your questions in a minute, because I get here that Peter will enter with the questions. So Peter, we'll be waiting for the questions. Round two. And as round two, I put one of the trends on my list, that is more attention to non-knowledge workers. And we have seen in the last years, sometimes it seems that everybody is a knowledge worker, but if you look at the workforce, there are many people who are not knowledge workers. They're in manufacturing, they're in transport, they're in retail, they are in hospitality, they are in medical professions, they are delivering packages, they are in the warehouses. Well, there's many people who are not knowledge workers. And how the question to the panelists: do you see that, and what are you doing to give more attention to the people who are not knowledge workers, who, for example, cannot work from home and often have to work under very, you could say, dire circumstances at the front with the clients, for the clients? And I probably take a small round again, but I start with Maria Dima, to have some variety in the circle. Maria Dima, your views on, what are you doing for non-knowledge workers?
Yeah, so I'm going to comment on a specific action we're taking, which has to do with one of our sustainability commitments also, about digital upskilling. So we have a commitment to make sure that all our employees have digital skills, and that includes our non-knowledge workers. So we are doing several actions to connect them with learning related to digital skills, because we see that this is very useful for their life overall, right? How they live in a very digital world. But also, as our plants are also gradually transforming to be more smart, they need to work next to robots, or they need to operate some digital equipment, right? So this is also helping them progress and gain new skills that they need, not just for their work, but also for their life. So this is one of our commitments and one of the actions we're taking that I think we are really proud of, but also it's very useful for our workers, right?
Yeah, excellent. Nice example. So digital skills, increasing the digital skills of the whole workforce, and not just of a selection. Excellent. Razvan, of course, Microsoft is super big company, so I'm sure you have a lot of non-knowledge workers as well. So what is your view?
You are so correct. Yes, indeed. I would name this category of employees as first-line workers, maybe. Why?
Yeah.
Because they are on the field all the time. They are in the first line with the customers, internal or maybe external customers. And we tended, in the past at least, to be focused on mainly, let's say, on the knowledge workers, the workers who are staying in front of the computer, for example, or a laptop 9 hours per day. But what about those guys who are actually doing the real stuff in the field? And I also want to make a very short parenthesis, because in the last years we are performing an annual research which is called World Trade Index, which gather, let's say, the insights from the labor market all over the world, for example. And what we saw, it was that every employee has the need of being part of a certain team, of a community, let's say. And especially in the last period, it was that concept, fear of missing out, FOMO, yes? And this was specifically addressed for the first line workers. Why? Because they are on the move all the time. They are maybe not connected all the time with the company priorities, with everything which is coming through the digital signals and channels to a regular worker, for example. And this is why we said that it's good to put, let's say, in their arms also the right ammunition in order to stay connected, to stay aligned, let's say, with the company culture and the company priorities. And we are very focused, we as Microsoft, because we are customer zero in this direction for reimagining employee experience, to have an alignment in terms of purpose. You are speaking in the previous slot about purpose, about aligning purpose of each of the individual to the strategic objective of the company in which they are working. So in order to do this, we need the proper tools, digital tools, for the first line workers in order to have access to the proper information, the relevant information for their eyes, not for everybody. So every role in an organization is very important. Why not bring the relevant information to each of the roles in the organization in such a way for them to stay connected, to stay engaged, and to stay productive? Yes, this is why we have special solutions designed for the first line workers in order to keep them aligned with the other category, which are the knowledge workers, let's say.
Yeah, so I think that's a nice additional example. So it's not only about the skills, but it's also about connecting people to the organization. And for frontline workers or whatever you call them, that's often more difficult. You see that also in retail, for example, all the people in retail. How do you connect them to the organization? So thank you, excellent example.
Tom, I would comment a little bit here, because it was another study, independent from Microsoft. The need of being connected to the digital world, let's say, is more important than having dinner out with the friends, let's say. So every first line worker right now has a digital tool in their hands. They have the mobile phones. Why not bringing the company culture through this digital tool, let's say, in front of their eyes? Because they anyway have it. In the past, the first line workers didn't have anything in terms of technology. Now they have it. Now it's depending on us, on how we can put in their arms the right ammunition in order to stay productive.
But I've seen a company very recently where they said we cannot use the mobile phone as communication, because then the people will expect that we give them a mobile phone. Very interesting. Big retail organization. So sometimes it's it's worse than you think everybody has a mobile phone, but they don't want to do that. Elena, we go to you.
Coming back to connecting people to the opportunity, I think LinkedIn does quite a lot for non-knowledge workers. I would say I probably wouldn't be talking about our internal process and internal non-knowledge workers employees, but mostly to a wider community. And what we definitely want to provide each person, each individual, an opportunity to connect to the dream work. And coming back to non-knowledge workers, we do a lot of education session in terms of how to build your profile, how to find the right opportunity for you, what skills you have to develop to get the opportunity, or do you need to develop them? All our efforts, what I'm happy to say, that all our efforts lead to quite a good statistics now. So because in terms of the new members that currently join LinkedIn platform, 55% of them is non-knowledge workers.
Okay, yeah.
With that said, 50% of job posts that we currently see on LinkedIn is also non-knowledge worker jobs. So I think that we are quite proud of that achievement.
Yeah, excellent. Because I would not have solved that. I think, oh, LinkedIn, that's for the higher positions. But it's good that you mention it. Sabrina, the perspective from you.
Yeah, so I would fully agree to everything that has been said. My biggest point would be like we cannot distinguish from an HR perspective between knowledge and non-knowledge workers in a company. All are equally important with their own roles that they bring to the table. But what I do agree with, of course, is the bigger challenge in providing probably a purpose and a sense of belonging to the company, especially in these last years, in the time of the pandemic, when all of us lucky office people could work from home, could continue our jobs. And they also, especially in production sites, they had to continue. They had to expose themselves as well, in a potentially unsafe, unhealthy environment. But I do believe the key and the opportunity that we have, and to your point, Razvan, as well, is that what we have nowadays is really digital HR, and that each and everybody every human being possesses, digital devices, and to translate and to create an HR strategy and an environment for employees where that kind of copies what they have in their private lives at work, meaning handling their HR topics in an easy digital way, giving them access to information on their smartphones, or potentially, I don't know, some computer kiosk stations in production sites, to give them a feeling of belonging to the same extent than the let's say the more digital workers even. But then also I think we have to think fresh, and then there are possibilities in becoming more flexible in areas where right now we feel that shifts are shifts, and regulations are regulations. I think also there, with the help of digital tools, we can become more flexible and provide a better environment for these employees.
No, absolutely. And I see that, for example, in hospitals, in scheduling and having the right tools for people to do the scheduling, that helps a lot also in other areas. We have some questions from the audience. So, of course, we want to take the time for that. One question, which is, you not only have knowledge workers, and you also have old and young people. So how do your organizations respond to the generational gaps amongst employees? And how do you upscale senior people, if you do? Well, anybody with a clear opinion about it? Generational gaps, and how do you upscale older people?
I would comment a little bit here, because this concept of 5 generations at work, it's pretty old, let's say, and pretty known, I would say. This is why I think it's very important to offer in our organization the digital environment in which every generation is feeling comfortable to work with. For example, emails, yes, the most classical channel communication part. Then, of course, we need more real-time collaboration, which can be Microsoft Teams, in which you are creating a chat, having a schedule or ad hoc call, for example, with our colleagues, leaving comments, leaving reactions over there, or having intranet solutions in which we can post information that everybody can find it relevant in terms of their competencies, but also from the way of accessing information. So I think this is why it's very important to put in place what we call an employee experience platform, which can give everybody the possibility to flourish, let's say, over there, and to offer and to bring learning in the flow of work, not to have learning as a unique or isolated activity in the organization, but bring learning in our daily activities, though everybody will do the learning part as a natural activity. Okay, and this is how we can, I would say, use technology for us in order to offer a better employee experience over here.
Yeah, and tailor the solution to the wishes and needs of the people, and not one standardized solution, as you're saying. Absolutely. Anybody else? Sabrina, you're nodding.
Yeah, I would like to add here that fully and 100% agree with you, Razvan. This is the key, this is the basis. But I think what's very important, in addition to having this, let's say, company-wide approach that is focused on the different generations of the workforce, I think it is a huge task for leaders of teams to individually assess and also proactively see the needs that every employee in their team has, especially talking about potentially more senior colleagues that also may have, a bit realized that they're maybe not as fast learning anymore as youngsters that come into the team. Maybe the energy level is changing over time. And this is totally fair. Every career has its stages. And I think why companies need to for sure cater to all of these stages. Everybody is different, and I think it is on us, on the leaders, to really have these the sense and the feeling, and then also have open and honest conversations on what does that mean for a person's job, for the development. How can we best put them in this framework that the company provides, but individually also cater for their needs.
Yeah, thank you, Sabrina. Maria, Dima, or Elena?
Yeah, for me, very quickly, just to say, everyone is a talent for us. So we offer equally all the opportunities for upskilling through all our digital means, but also targeted, let's say, programs from our academies. And secondly, it's true that in the past years, I think anyone in HR has been focusing a lot on early career talent, right, and accelerating early careers. But I see also a shift in our company. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a bad voice. I see a shift in our company about looking now at career and career discussions in a very targeted way for people some years before retirement. So we are now also putting a special emphasis to discuss about career in the last 10 years, let's say, before requirement, so that there is a plan and the employee can really, continue to see a progress and continue to see a way to transfer the knowledge, but also to continue developing.
Thank you. Elena, anything to add from your side?
I think that I probably will be slightly repeating what Sabrina and Maria were saying, because I do agree with Sabrina a lot that it becomes very much individual learning, right? It's for individual to each individual, and each generation would have slightly different aspirations in terms of their career. We can see it even on LinkedIn. For example, youngest are definitely, even in terms of movement, changing the jobs, they are moving way faster than baby boomers, right? So with learning as well, they are on learning platform way more, and they are learning and absorbing the information for more hours than, for example, baby boomers. And therefore, this individual approach to each person in the organization, where everyone has access to different tools and technologies to provide an individual career path and learning path, that becomes key.
Thank you. And I want to add, it's very important to work data-driven, because there's a lot of talk about generational differences. But if you know somebody's date of birth, you cannot predict behavior of people. That's astrology. That does not work. So there are differences between groups and people. But if you know that someone is Gen Z, well, you don't know anything, basically. I think that's very important, because I still hear a lot about that. Yeah, we know you are 23, then we know what you want. Well, I don't know. We go to another question. Well, the time is running fast, but this is a simple one, maybe just short. Does a 4-day work week have a future? And how do you see it? 4-day work week. Anybody?
May I again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I think, yes, it's a reality that cannot be embraced 100% in all of the companies. Every company, every organization will decide what is their company culture, how they want to offer their employees, and how they can keep their employees more productive, maybe in this new approach with 4 days per week approach. But in the same time, if a company will decide to go into that direction, they need to put in place the digital tools in order for everybody to feel included over there. Because you can imagine, we are working together in a project. You are free on Monday and free on Wednesday, for example. So I need to be mindfulness of your balance between work and life in regards with your well-being. So how I can do it as a company, let's say as an organization, to put in place the right policies, the right channels of communication in order for you to feel empowered to work in those 4 days, which might be different from my 4 days, for example. And in the same time, I don't want to give you maybe a burnout sentiment just because you are disturbed in your 3 days. So it's very important to have a look over there. And I think it's very important that it would be a cooperation between different departments in organizations. First of all are the leaders in the center who are defining the culture. Then we have HR department. Then we have the business owners, let's say, and also the real estate who can put in place the right the policies for assuring the hybrid work approach.
All right, I got the 2-minute warning already.
Can I just mention one interesting fact that remote work and 4-day work week is definitely in a high demand in terms of job postings. If you drop a post and it's mentioning remote work or 4-day week work, number of applicants will be way higher. Than
remote work in a nice warm location, 4 days a week. I think that's what people would like. Any last remarks? I got Maria Dima. Any last remark for everybody?
Last remarks for everybody. There was a nice question that we didn't do that was, I think, on technology, right? And I think all of us should be looking a little bit at AI and data and how the combination of that is impacting how we are interacting with employees, but also what our role as HR is, right? So I think it needs a bit of reflection on the HR side.
All right, absolutely.
As
so
this
that's
come
a good
into play.
message. Look at AI and what you can do in your profession with AI. Sabrina, any last remarks from your side?
Well, I mean, also from a digital perspective, I believe that the digitalization of HR is the future in order for us in the end to become more human again as an organization, because if we have the data available, if we have an environment where employees and managers have access to the information that they need to be better leaders, then we give them more freedom and also more time to become better humans, so to say, for the organization.
That's a good message. Technology can help us to become more human. I think that's a good message. Elena, any last remark from your side?
Yeah, coming back to technology and data analytics, that's definitely becoming a core for any strategic decision makers, whether you analyze whether major talent pools are or what is the skill gap or either any automation I can do for labor. It's definitely one of the keynotes. So staying on top of the trends and technology that is available definitely becomes very important.
Razvan, from your side, any last remark in 10 seconds?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please stay focused in the future on employee experience. Stay tuned also on Wednesday when I have the keynote and we'll discuss more about how employee experience can help our organization boost in the next period.
All right. I want to thank the panel members and apologize for the short time. We could have continued, I think, for at least a longer time, and we'll do that the next time. But yeah, I'm just following the clock at the moment. Thank you all. Also, thank you for all the people who posed a question. We were not able to answer all the questions, but I thank you for your. And there will be. This is the beginning of the week, so there's a lot more this week. I hope you learn a lot and wish you success. Take care. See you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Enjoy the week. Thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Fantastic. Again, this is kind of one of those sessions which you're right, Tom, could just carry on and carry on. So many ideas and so many questions. Looking at our chat, so many people that have got something to say. So thank you so much, Tom. We look forward